Hi everyone. What I want to talk to you about today is making your recital into a celebration. And this is something that really I've been thinking about in some way, shape or form since I started doing recitals. This is what I wanted them to be, but I didn't really put it into this word in the very beginning. And gradually it's evolved until this year. I actually called my recital the Spring Celebration 2018. And that's what I want it to be. So I want it to be not quite a party, but a celebration of student achievements, right? Isn't that what we all want it to be? I think that's what they should be. So I have some ideas to share with you today that I've been putting into place to try and make it more like a celebration, less pressurized, but still with those great learning opportunities for how to perform, and how to have that poise and do all the recital stuff that we expect, but make it about celebrating students and their achievements. So the first thing, to put it into the students and put it onto them as the important people at that event, is actually not my idea at all. It is from Sarah Campbell of sarahsmusicstudio.com, and she shared this idea, might have even been 2 years ago, it was at least 1 year ago, about having a playlist on as your students come in. So just having music, background music on as they arrive, and that music being their music. Not yours, not classical, not whatever. It's music that students are listening to all the time that they love. So she shared this, like I say, I think it was 2 years ago, and I thought it was genius. Even though it was last year, I thought it was great. So I tried it out, and she actually creates a playlist every year now, seems to be every year, of this type of music. So you don't even have to put any effort in. She creates a Spotify playlist of like songs from movies and all that kind of stuff that your students will recognize and that they love and that they'll listen to, so that when they're coming in, it sounds like a place that's for them. And I think that's so important. It sets this vibe that this recital is about them and it's in their style and it's for them. So I thought that was wonderful. She has, like I say, 2 Spotify playlists now, so you don't even have to put in any effort. She has stuff from The Greatest Showman in the most recent one, and just really fun songs and, ones without any swearing or anything inappropriate in them as well. So you do have to be careful about that, but it's fantastic to just have that welcoming atmosphere, and I love doing that now in all my recitals as the students arrive and take their place, so that it's a party atmosphere. It's about celebrating them. The second way that I do this is actually something I think I do. Maybe teachers are maybe like a 50-50 split. I was going to say that I do this more than other teachers, but I actually think we are about 50-50 probably on this one. And that's that some teachers pick out pieces, right, for a recital. So the student, plays through various pieces and they pick out their favorite one and they study it and work really hard at it, and it's this big thing, right? And some teachers pick from pieces that students already know. And I'm in that second camp, because I think it should be about celebrating what they have already learnt. And if they pick out their favourite pieces and we repolish them, we get them ready for the recital, there's less learning involved in that piece, they're more confident going up, and it is genuinely a representation of what they've done that year. And to me, the other way of doing it smacks a little bit of our exam system, which we tend to, have these really challenging pieces that we prepare for months and months and months and months and months. And I don't want to bring that into another area. And even if you're not in an exam system type of culture, I still think it's useful to just use this as a celebration of what they've already learned, because I think they should be learning pieces that they love all year long, right? They should be learning pieces that they really enjoy all the time. I believe we can teach stuff we need to teach through those pieces. Kathy says she's in the same camp as me. She does the second thing too. I'd say, like I say, we're about 50-50, and I see the benefit of the other way, because teachers want to push their students to achieve more, and they see this as an opportunity to stretch them a little bit, and that's awesome. But I tend to go the other way, where we're celebrating what they have already done. And they get to feel really confident going up, the pieces that they already know really well, and we can just make them extra special for the recital. So that's the first two ideas. You've got music going on as they come in that's in their style, that's like from films they love, or whatever is the latest thing on the radio. Then you've got them choosing pieces that represent the work they've already put in, that they already know really well, that they feel great about, and that are their favourites. Always like to let my students have some input there as to what their favourite pieces are. Then, this is a very simple step, but it's one that I probably didn't really think of in the beginning, and that's to actually point it out. In your speech at the very start, point out how this is a celebration of all they've done. Just be straightforward about it and point it out to parents. This is a celebration. This is about recognising how hard these students work and how much the parents are supporting them at home and how much practice goes into that, and about how big it is to get all the way up onto a stage or get up in front of the crowd and play for everyone. Right? That's not easy. And if you point out how hard that would be for some of the parents to do, they'll just be in that frame of mind where they're ready to celebrate that little bit more of all the students, not just their own kiddos. Then the fourth way is to add some decorations. Now, a lot of us will decorate for our recitals, that's nothing new, but I think they should be party style decorations, in my opinion. And this year what I actually did was we got balloons, like helium balloons, so the ones that float. We got helium balloons, and my husband was absolutely terrified bringing them back in the car, that they were all going to pop in his car. So that wasn't such a good moment for him, but I really appreciated them. And I think they made a big difference. Balloons are just one of those things that they add so much colour straight away to a room because they take up space. They're just so bright. And the really fun thing we did with the balloons is actually after the recital, we gave one to each student to take home. So I said, any student who wants one of the balloons, they can come up the top and they can get it. My husband tied them around their wrist. Again, he doesn't deal with kids as much as me, so I had to say, no, don't just give them to them, okay? Make sure it goes tied around their wrist, because otherwise they will be all on the ceiling. And he said, really? Yes. Seriously, tie them around their wrist. So that's what we did, and they got to go home with a balloon, and kids love balloons, so that was great, but it just added to the overall ambience and the feeling, that party feeling. And then the final and most exciting thing that I did this year to make my recital more of a celebration was some stuff I did with the audience. Now, some of you may have seen my post about this, and I knew it was going to be a little bit controversial because I was asking whether people thought I should add party blowers, like those things that go brrr. I can't make that sound without one, but you get the idea. Should I add those to my audience, or was I asking for trouble? And a lot of people said I was asking for trouble, and I knew I kind of partially was, but I still wanted to do something along those lines. And that thread actually that everyone participated in, we had some great comments, and it really helped me think this through. And although no one suggested this, it brought me to this idea which I landed on, which was that I gave out pom-poms to every student as they came in. I actually had a table up at the entrance, and I had a sign up saying welcome, and students, please take a pom-pom so that we can make our audience, our applause, more colourful this year. And I think that was a really fun touch, and they really, really enjoyed it. And it was just something a bit special, and like I say, to make it more colourful. Because when I was thinking about it, I was like, well, why do I want this extra noise in the audience? Okay, it's because I want it to be more like a celebration, more like they're cheering for each other, less of this polite applause, right? I didn't want the sleepy applause, I wanted a little bit more. And since I wanted a little bit more, I was thinking about noises. And when I started thinking about it more and more, I was like, the noises might get too much. And I have a lot of younger siblings, like it might, and they're going to want one too, and it might be troublesome. And I know that, which is why I asked about it in the group. So then, when I was thinking about it more, I thought, okay, the reason I want this is for it to look more friendly, right? More inviting to the performer when they're bowing. That's what I want. And that's where I came up with colour. Okay, let's add colour. Pom-poms are the most colourful thing I could think of for people to shake around. They would still make a rustling sound, and add all of that. So let me share you the pom-poms I have. So these ones, those are the fancier ones, fancy plastic ones. Those ones are from Tiger. So don't know if you have that if you're over in the States, but Tiger's just like it's a Scandinavian, so it's a kind of cool dollar store. That's how I would describe it. It's a Scandinavian store, budget, cheapo stuff. And they had these pom-poms in yellow and pink and red. And I only have a pink one to show you because I didn't make it clear enough at all that the students were supposed to give them back. So I lost all the pom-poms, but whatever. They've gone to loving homes, so that's no problem. But it was going to be too much to buy a pom-pom, even a pom, right, for every single student. It was beyond my budget that I wanted to spend, even from a dollar store, right? They're not that cheap. They're quite substantial. So I split them in half, and then I doubled that with homemade pom-poms. And that's what these ones are. And I think you'll agree they're still pretty successful, right? So this is a popsicle stick, lollipop stick. The colour you see here, that is my pink zebra duct tape, which some of you may have seen on blog posts and stuff. And then the top is just tissue paper. So super cheap to make. I actually had a bunch of this tissue paper already, so I put those all together. So it was about a little bit more the homemade ones, and then the other ones added that extra colour and the different brightness, and it was really wonderful. And I added one more thing to the audience, and that is, because I was thinking about this idea of noise, I was like, not sure I want to give it to every student. Okay, so what I did was I brought my rhythm instruments. I have a mixed bag thing that I bought as a set. So there's like an egg shaker, maracas, bells, different shapes of bells, and that kind of stuff, right? I didn't include the clave in this because I thought it would be too jarring. I don't love that sound. Anyway, so I brought that along and I slipped around to various specific students and said, I have an extra special job for you. I want you to take this egg shaker and shake it whenever we're applauding. But it's an extra special job because you need to make sure not to make noise when we're not applauding. So I gave that extra responsibility to my slightly older, less wriggly students, right? And it meant that, sure, they felt special. They knew I trusted them to do this job. The little ones didn't feel left out because it was really only a few students and I split it around the room, and they didn't even notice because they had their pom-poms and they were busy running around with those while we got ready. So that worked out really well. And what I want to try and do, I haven't done this before, is to show you a quick video snippet of this. So we'll see if this works. This should show you the applause now. Okay, so hopefully that showed up okay for you. It's still dignified, it's still not too far away from classical. We didn't go to party blowers, but it is more fun. The kids enjoyed it, they got involved with it, and it was a lot brighter just to look at. It was more fun to look at as you were standing at the front. I mean, I noticed it when I did it. So I thought that was a great success. And I hope maybe some of you will try out something to add a bit more to your applause if you think it was a fun addition, or if you think I'm completely batty, you can let me know that as well, and that I should have stuck with a formal recital with proper bows and dignified applause and all that stuff. But in my opinion, it's for kids. If you know me, you'll know I teach a lot of preschoolers, so we're talking about a lot of young kids being involved here. So it was a good way to add a bit of fun and sparkle to the applause. So let me run through those 5 ideas for making your recital into a celebration one more time. We've got adding music, intro music as they walk in, from Sarah Campbell at sarahsmusicstudio.com. Go over there to get her Spotify playlists or search on Spotify. They're great and it takes all the pressure off you to even come up with cool songs for teens. Next, choose repertoire that they're already comfortable with, that they've been learning all year and that they love, that they absolutely adore already, without having to put a ton of work into it in the lead up and get all stressed. Then point it out. Point out to parents in your introduction speech that this is a celebration, that this is about your students' achievements and how amazing it is that they've stuck with piano all year. Wow, and the parents are so helpful and all that stuff. Then add some decorations. I recommend balloons, and I also recommend giving out the balloons at the end as a way to give your students something to take home, something fun and a little bit extra. And then finally, add some colour or some extra noise to your applause with just a little bit of caution, maybe using some of the tips that I shared today. So I really hope you enjoyed these tips. Please let me know what you think of it. There's a few of you writing in that you love the balloons and the cheerleading pom-poms and all that stuff. So let me know if you're watching this live or on the replay what you think of those ideas and whether you're going to try them out yourself, because I'd love to hear how you get on with it. Okay, bye for now.